we have Andrea from Kagomi's Crystals.
Yes. Hi,
Um,
guys. I can't hold on. Something's not
uh-huh.
right. I can't see you, and
Ooh,
I don't know if I'm supposed to see comments. Sorry, guys. I've never done,
you're
but
fine.
it's just like buffering.
Hmm. You can hear me, but you can't see me, correct?
Okay, now I can see you.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
sometimes there's like a little lag at the beginning. I don't know why it does that sometimes.
Okay, cool. Now I can see. Hi.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I see a lot of people are here. Yay, I'm so excited.
Hi, guys.
So,
I can see you.
Andrea, do you want to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Andrea. I'm from Kagomi's Crystals. I am the owner and the sole proprietor of that shop. I run pretty much everything with a little bit of help from my brother, and I started it from scratch. So just like you, we have very similar stories.
Yeah, yeah, for similar, very similar. I noticed you're from Illinois, right?
Yes.
Are you are you close to Chicago?
About like 45 minutes or so,
Oh,
like
okay.
closer to 50 maybe. I used to live really close to Chicago, like 20 minutes. And I have a sister that actually lives in the South Loop area, it's called. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very familiar with Chicago. It's just I love living in the cornfields now, so I'm just like slowly moving further away.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. I like to be in the suburbs, definitely. But I used to live in Chicago when I was little. It was
Are you from
nice.
the Midwest?
No, I was born in South Texas, but my dad moved us up there for most of my childhood into my preteen years due to his job. And then we moved back to South Texas, and I'm still in Texas.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So do you have any like bullet points, or do you want me to like go ahead and start with the questions, or do you want to wait for someone to start asking questions?
So, am I supposed? I can't see any comments or anything. I don't know if I'm
Uh,
supposed to be able to see anything. I can't. So
okay.
maybe you can ask me the questions, and then we can
Mhm.
start like that. However you feel best doing it. I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll do that. So I can see the comments on my end. So I'll keep an eye on the comments. So you guys, today again, we're discussing all things crystal business. So if you guys have ever been interested in opening your own business, um, online business, and you don't know where to start, right now is a good time to ask. Andrea and I are here to answer and throw ideas back and forth with each other and have open conversation about these things. Even if you're not in the market to open a crystal shop, I think it's still really good to ask questions anyway, right? So you know
Yeah.
exactly where your product is being sourced from, or just anything else that you guys want to know about the industry. So feel free to ask away, but I'll go ahead and start asking probing questions just to start us off.
Okay.
So, um, Andrea, what, how was your experience? Because I know like this is like the one thing. Oh, I see the questions coming in. Okay, I'll wait for mine then. Let's answer this one. How did you guys start growing your Instagram page?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is like something that I learned the hard way, which is I just went for it and didn't really have a strategy. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, I've grown multiple social media pages before. I used to have a makeup page that I really strategized and grew, but I
Mhm.
didn't get any sales or trust or engagement. It was just a big follower count, nothing else. And what I did differently with this was I specifically decided to strategize, actually learn from people. I took free
Mhm.
courses. I took, just read lots of articles online about algorithms and, what makes a post go viral or, what converts a post from likes to sales or, from a follower to a customer. And I just learned you have to have some kind of strategy. Even if
Mhm.
it's post 3 times a week and that's your only strategy so far, you have to start with something because if you don't have a strategy, you will never have a vision of where you want to go.
Right.
And for sure, just do as much knowledge as possible on like algorithms because it's very interesting. It's like a math equation.
Oh, for sure. I think we could go into like a whole other like live just talking on that one subject, right? And
Yeah.
for those of you guys who don't know, I get a lot of these questions, but for me, it's better to bring Andrea on here because Andrea already has a Patreon group where she gives business pointers. They have, like a group of their own where entrepreneurs get together and help each other out. So if you have shipping questions, wholesale supplier questions, stuff like that, that's somewhere I know that you guys could find a lot of knowledge, right? And
Yeah.
so, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not like a course or anything, so it's no, right now it's just like a time, like no timeline at all. It's just for, I say it's for the beginner stages, because when I first started, I had a lot of questions.
Mhm.
And anyone's going to tell you just search it up, Google it. But the truth is there's so much information that it gets overwhelming, you just give up.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to do something for someone that's just starting. I have questions and I need answers, whether it's how do I get a business license, what's a tax ID, what's a sole proprietor and an LLC, what's the difference, can I
Mhm.
just start off as a sole prop? There's so many questions that I had that I had to answer myself, because no one's just going to give you the answer. So I was like, I'm going to start this Patreon not as a course or something you must follow these steps and at the end you're getting this, but as a place where anyone can share their ideas, and I'm teaching you what I've learned along the way and what's worked with me. I have everything from taxes to inventory, like you said. I've shared a small list of crystal wholesalers based in the US, and
Mhm.
it's just a really good place for everyone to, get together if they're just in that idea phase or just started. And I'm actually in the process, if you're one of my patrons, you'll know this, I'm in the process of rebranding it. It'll no longer be Kagome's Crystals. It'll actually be for all businesses, to get more in depth. And I'll actually add courses and get deeper, have one-on-one possibilities too, to actually like work with you and help you start or grow your business. And it'll be like rebranded and everything. And that's coming soon. That's why everything is still up there, but I haven't been updating it because I'm in the process of rebranding it. So that's something exciting if you guys are looking to start even any kind of business, a candle business, a sunglass business. It's all the same in the beginning. Everything is.
Definitely. Those first initial steps to like setting up a business, the foundational portion is really basically the same for everyone. Um, but yeah, I was going to ask, is there a Patreon group that you guys or like a Discord or a Facebook group where everybody huddles and like asks all these questions?
Not necessarily. I feel like everyone so far has been more comfortable directly messaging me. Most people, I would say, right now, I think it's 7 people. Most of the lovely ladies are my followers and like have been with me for a long time, either shop with me, currently shop with me, or just followed me and, joined. So luckily, I actually have kind of really good personal relations with a lot of them. Like we'll talk through DM and they'll just directly shoot me a message. I've sold some wholesale stuff to them. It's more so I think one-on-one. I've even put, everyone seems a little shy. I'll put like, leave a recommendation down below, and I don't get that much engagement yet on my Patreon. They're very shy, but they ask me a lot of questions one-on-one, and that's why I kind of want to focus on that. I feel your business is so personal and so intimate that
Mhm.
some people don't want to just be out there, you know, asking questions. They kind of feel dumb, or they feel, you know, ashamed or embarrassed to not know. So I
Mhm.
really have been more one-on-one.
Yeah, that's good. So I saw that the next question come in. Let me make sure I haven't missed any. Okay, so it was actually the next question was the one I was going to start with, which was the thing everybody wants to know. Wholesale suppliers. Where do they start?
Where do you start?
Uh-huh.
So that is a question that you need to ask yourself. Do you have a business license yet?
Mhm.
How much are you ready to buy? Do you want to, are you looking for big pieces? Are you looking for tumble stores? Do you have a freestanding store? Are you online?
Mhm.
There's a lot of questions you need to ask, because there's not one wholesale vendor. I thought I can just run into one vendor that'll have everything for me and I'm just forever set and I have to never ever talk to anyone again. And that's not at all the case. I have over 40 people that I've shopped with, vendors. And
Mhm.
this is the hint that I've given, my little free game that I've given to everyone that's asked me this. go on the Tucson Gem Show or the Denver Gem Show website. They have a list of all the vendors that attend the show, and they are hundreds of them, if not
Yeah.
thousands. And
Mm-hmm.
that's literally how you can start.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most easiest ways is just go and click through. I've gone through hundreds and hundreds of pages of wholesale vendors just to find the ones that I felt comfortable with. And you are going to get some shitty ones. It's not, you can't lie to yourself. I have a story in my marathon that I'm going to share with everyone, something that I'm going to sell that turned out to be not what I thought it was. And, I'm always very transparent with people because it's the reality of finding vendors. You have to just try and see what you like. You're going to buy something from someone and think you got a great deal and then meet another vendor that sells it at half the price. You're going to be like, what? And it's just something that happens. It's literally trial and error, and just don't give up searching. It feels impossible at first, but once you get your license, especially, it gets so much easier to get wholesale prices, really good deals too.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very good pointer. If you see me looking down, I'm just writing the questions I'm seeing come
Yeah,
in.
no problem.
So I'm trying to catch them all. You guys, if I miss one, just go ahead and comment it again, so I can make sure we answer that for
I
you.
can't see who is in here, but hi everyone. If anyone's here from my page, my tribe, hi guys, miss you guys.
I'm sure they are. Too much information, says so bestie. Aw. Okay, so next question was, how do you start how do you get more people to join your live?
That I think just comes with building trust. My first live, so I had 2 people in there and one person bought. Loch Ness Monster, if she's in here, she's always in my lives still to this day.
Oh,
Literally just keep building trust. There's nothing you can do. Just like your website, if you're just getting sales straight off the website or story sales or whatever it is, Etsy, it just takes time and trust. Encourage your followers to leave a review, to repost you on their social media. I have a whole highlight that's always spilled to the top because I make sure to encourage people to, get home and show me. I don't want to see those pieces. I actually have connections with these pieces. I want to see them when they're in their new homes.
yeah.
So just build trust. That's all you can do. There's nothing else. You're asking people for their money, their name, their address, their time.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of trust that needs to be built.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So someone else is asking, how did you start, how do you go about funding?
So I started off, I had a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and I just funded it myself. I did not take out any loans or anything like that. I'm actually on a debt-free journey. So I'm trying to get myself out of all my debt. And I did not want to start this business with any debt. I actually have done that before. I used to do makeup. So when I started my freelancing makeup business, I took out hella credit cards and just started buying makeup and supplies. And I ended up being in debt from that because my business didn't grow like I thought it would. So what you need to make sure is that, like I said, that you're ready, because starting a business is a huge investment. There is a lot of cost. I went a long time before I started profiting, and I made sure that every dollar that came in while I had my full-time job went right back into my business. I did not take any dollar. I told myself from the beginning, this is not about profit. This was just a side gig for fun. When I got laid off and things changed is when I kind of changed my mindset and I started to, grow my page more. But when you're starting off, it's really, everything goes back in if you want to grow. You have to have another income to kind of support that.
Exactly. That's true. I didn't get any funding. I didn't go to no bank. I didn't get no loans. I was fortunate enough to have a good job before I was, well, not that this isn't a good job, it's a great job, but, I just had a corporate job. Before this, I worked in accounting and I was able to save up a ton of money, and invest. I think, if I'm not wrong, it wasn't even that much. It was like $2,000. That was my first investment. It wasn't that much. And like you said at the beginning, it wasn't. I didn't take a dime. Nothing was for me. I just kept reinvesting it into more inventory And then that came in, sold that, reinvested it, sold that, reinvested it, sold that, until it just like snowballed into something that once I started to see that it was yielding enough income for me to sustain inventory and sustain myself was when I, started to think, okay, maybe I'm ready to leave my corporate job.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like some, and $2,000 isn't a lot. I've seen people start with much less and still
Yeah.
make so. That's the good thing about is this business is that it is very accessible. Someone else is asking, how do you know your crystals are ethically sourced?
So that is a very hard question because I feel even if someone tells you, you don't really know. A lot of any business, it's a lot of word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Certificates and all that, they could mean nothing. The best way to know is, luckily in the crystal business, something you'll learn is there's a lot of small businesses within the crystal business, from wholesalers to miners. The best way to know is to directly work with miners. Not only are you going to get the best price, but you know that they're the ones mining at the company. You're aware it's not child labor or whatever. But if you're just buying from, say, you see a wholesaler online, and they have a website, you don't know who's mining, where they're getting it from. You know, there's a big chain that goes in this business. It's not just wholesalers and us. It's like miners, and there's like people that buy those and shape them and sell it to wholesalers that sell to us. There's a big chain. So the best way is actually having relationships and connections with your vendors, not just buying from a catalog. Actually, no. That's why I have small batches of high quality. Because I don't know if I'm ever getting that back in, because I'm working with a small family that might not get this again, or is mining in a different mine this time, or whatever it may be. It's just building trust with those people, and you know for a fact this is a family business. They are running this legitly. They're not using any slave labor or anything. And the biggest concern is really that, because there's terrible cases that happen of child labor being used in the actual mines. So you just have to do more research as who's extracting these crystals. That's like the main concern.
Yes. So that brings me into the next question, which was it has to do with this. It's do you feel comfortable buying from China?
Oh, absolutely. They are the crystal capital of the world. If you guys don't know, they import from everywhere that you can think of.
Yeah.
They will, if they hear a new find, the world is made in China. Like, you guys, that's something you guys have to understand. There's a big stigma behind it,
Yeah.
but it's like, you guys have to understand the business. They, in every business, they are in it. They are making, like, people, so many wholesalers that sell here get it from China and sell it here. I have Chinese vendors, Mexican vendors, Brazilian vendors. And let me tell you, the Chinese vendors, they have everything. They import from Brazil, from India, from Russia, everywhere. But you have to find trust. There's so many. You're not going to find them because they followed you on Instagram. That's all I'm going to say. You're not going to find them by going to a shop and looking at their followers. Most of us don't follow our vendors on here. Most of us have WhatsApp or Facebook, or like Facebook groups, or you've gotten to the point now that you have their phone number. I do lots of FaceTime calls with Chinese vendors. I'm up at like 2 a.m, I love fluorite, Chinese fluorite. They have one of the most abundant mines in China. So absolutely not. That is such a wrong stigmatized idea that Chinese vendors aren't like reputable. They're one of them. If you go to gem shows, they're one of the biggest vendors there.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with you when you say that there's like a stigma behind like sourcing things from China, because you hear all these bad things about like the little what are the kids being made to like process stuff in factories and stuff. But the truth is it's usually not the case. But like you said, as long as you are building a good relationship with your supplier, you're not afraid to ask questions, and they're not afraid to respond to you when you have those questions.
Exactly.
You'll be fine. And it's like the thing about like wholesalers, and it really is like a relationship based thing, and just finding that is a whole process within itself. It takes forever.
and they'll give you better prices too. Like, I remember when I first started and I ran into one of those live sales from the Chinese that claim to be wholesalers. And there's a lot of these accounts. They follow us all day. And it's funny because their wholesale prices are their retail prices. Because
Yeah.
if you actually find their source, their prices are like a quarter of that. And you're like, wait, what? They
Yeah.
said flour egg at 60 a kilo, and then you find it like the real price, like the actual source. So be
Yeah.
weary of that, guys. All these, they know that people are looking for that, so they'll put wholesale,
Mm-hmm.
whatever wholesale seller, and
Yeah.
that's their retail prices. Like, they are
Yeah.
selling that at a huge profit, and they're just
Uh-huh.
saying it's wholesale, but it's not.
It's not. Yes, I definitely agree. And it's so annoying because I tend to block them all. And they tend to be, you know who they are because one, they're very spammy.
Yes,
They DM you like a whole bunch of their pictures, or like
all
they'll
day.
all day, and then they follow all the people on your accounts, and you always see them live at the Crystal Market. So if
Yes,
y'all don't know what it
exactly.
is, the Crystal Market is basically like you'll see these people going live and they're in an outdoor area or like what looks like a mall and they're shopping for crystals for you. But all they are is just a personal shopper and they're not giving you wholesale prices. Those are retail prices. Like,
That's, yeah.
yeah,
Which it is wholesale to some people.
yeah,
Like, what I'm saying is it's their retail. Like, just know that there is an actual wholesale price behind that. They, like you said, they go to the big, like I said, China's the biggest, they have the biggest crystal market.
uh-huh,
They literally are there shopping for people live, or they're hosting a live in their warehouse where they have even more, they have even cheaper prices, but they don't let you, like, what I would say is, like, my vendors, I have to make personal appointments with them. Like,
mm-hmm,
you're not going to be in a big group getting real wholesale prices. Like, that's why I'm looking up that I'm like, oh, I got all purple flower agate because
mm-hmm.
my vendor was on FaceTime with me, picking them out for me from the actual warehouse at those wholesale prices. It's just, don't get fooled, guys. Don't get tricked. Don't give up right away and go with the first vendor you see because there's people shopping with them.
For sure. Yes, that is very true. So next question was, how long did it take for you guys to balance out the expenses and seeing a return? I feel like that's different depending on like how much you put into the business, but I'll let you go first.
So yeah, that's something that I learned the hard way. I didn't, because I had a full-time, I started it when I worked for Estee Lauder at Macy's. So I was
Mhm,
technically a Macy's employee. I was not making much money, a couple $100 a week. And then I got promoted within Estee Lauder to a corporate position. And I started making, a lot better money.
mhm,
And at that time, this was a side gig. I didn't think of this being a full-time thing yet. So I wasn't keeping track of receipts. I wasn't bookkeeping. I wasn't doing anything. My
yeah,
bank account was my business account.
mhm,
And when I, went full time last year in March, when I lost my job during COVID, I literally opened a business account, did all of that day, because
mhm.
I had no idea how much I truly was making versus spending. And if you guys use QuickBooks Self-Employed, you will see that number perfectly. It's right there telling you. A rule that I like to make, if you are starting off and you want to take profit. So at first it looked like my business didn't make any profit because they put it all back in. So technically I made no profit. But mind you, if you're a home-based legal business, your business pays for your Wi-Fi, your business pays for different little things that are tax write-offs that you can that fund your lifestyle as well as your home-based business. So a part of my lifestyle was, being taken care of by my business, and that made it a little easier on me on my personal expenses. But one rule that I told my Patreon members to follow is the 30-30-30 rule, and this is something that someone told me that's a business owner, and it stuck with me forever. So you take 30% of what you made and you pay yourself the other 30% to continue to run your business, and then save the last 30% for taxes. Even though you won't need that much, you just want to have that leverage. And then at the end of the year, or the quarterly, or whatever it is that you do, you'll be happy that you have that extra money. And ever since I started following the 30-30-30 rule, my personal bank account grew, my business bank account grew, and I always, always, always had money for taxes, never short. So I always tell people follow that. Don't get greedy and take everything. It's just impossible. A business, people can make $1 million and only profited 100,000 because they
Mhm.
invested the whole entire 900,000 back in their business. So
Mhm.
just know that it takes a lot of money to make a lot of money in a business. You will
Yeah,
spend.
for sure. But I think a lot of it also goes back to like once like I guess the way I understood their question was like how long did it take to actually like see how long it took to be able to get to a comfortable place where you felt like okay, like this I'm finally in a place in my business where I can take money for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like or at least like if you're trying to like leave your 9 to 5 and dedicate yourself to this, it's really
Yeah.
hard to say because so much of us are in different positions. Like, for example, I
Yeah.
have a full-on family. You're single. So maybe like what I need to make monthly isn't going to be the same as what you need to make monthly in order to like cover our life expenses, right? So
Mm.
that's why I'm like, it's very different depending on like what your demographic is and also like how much you're putting into your business in terms of marketing because how much you market, how much you're posting, like you mentioned earlier, your social media strategy is going to depend a lot on how much traction and visibility you're getting, and that turns into customers, that turns into you seeing the return on your investment. So if you're, I mean, it's an uphill battle, you guys, having to like dedicate yourself to posting, so many pictures, so many reels, so many stories a day or a week or whatever. It's a commitment and it takes time and it goes back to like how much time are you willing to put on it? Because
Yeah.
really that's what it's going to depend on. Hmm.
So I would say it depends totally on your situation. And what I always use, which is, um, I guess it just depends on you, but what I always use is, I want to pay myself what I paid myself at my job. So I
Hmm.
had a really good, decent paying job, my
Hmm.
corporate job. And first I was laid off in March from that job. I was laid off for 7 months. They called us back in October. And in October, I started profiting. September was my first month profiting. And then
Hmm.
October, I did like double that. And it was like, whoa, it really shook me. They called me back to work. I went back to work. I was really unhappy after that. I just wanted to be in my business. I
Hmm.
wasn't happy in that position anymore or that job. So I
Hmm.
left. And then I found out a week later I would have been laid off anyways. So it was like it all worked out together. But I always use that scale of when I'm making what I used to get paid, then I'm okay. So
Yeah.
not as in sales, what I paid myself, because I pay
Hmm.
myself only 30% of my sales. So when I was able to pay myself what my corporate job paid me, that's when I said, okay, I'm comfortable. Because before that, I was doing part-time freelancing, doing
Hmm.
makeup and running my business because I started I started taking a little bit of profit in the summer because I was laid off and I needed more money. But
Hmm.
according to my sales, I was only allowed to take $200. I could not live off $200. So I was part-time freelancing. So you just have to go based on what you need to live. And
Yeah.
I always say, don't pay yourself less than what you're getting paid at your job. It
Hmm.
won't make sense for you in the long run.
Correct. Yeah. The next question was, have you ever gotten fake crystals and how can you spot them?
Fake. So I haven't gotten fake, but I've gotten dyed crystals. I was told by someone that they were. I can show. Let me grab one. Oh no, I think they're upstairs. I was taking pictures of them. They were. I was told they were pink aragonite, and I know how pink aragonite looks like. You can look pictures up, and they came out like very neon. And I was like, this doesn't look like the picture that you were sending me. Are you sure this is natural? And they swear up and down. This was my first time dealing with this vendor too. They swore up and down that it was natural, and they said, our vendor told us that, so they got it from someone else. And I believe them 100% that they were told it was natural. And I straight up told them, like, just so you know, it's not like, I know you're selling it. I was actually like, I was sending them a video rubbing it off. I'm like, it wouldn't come off. I have blue aragonite. It's not doing that.
Mhm.
Pink aragonite should not do this. I've had it before. So it ended up being dyed. And I've had it forever. I'm gonna actually sell them during my marathon, 100% transparent that they're dyed, because
Uh-huh.
it happens, like I said. But I just kind of moved on from it. I didn't even ask them for the money back because
Mhm.
I genuinely know that they got ripped off from their vendor.
Yeah, for real. That's happened to me before also with that the lepidolite with pink tourmaline. It was sold
Yes.
to me as lepidolite with ruby. And so I had to go back
Oh,
after, and I sold them that way. So I had to go back. And this is, guys, the best thing that you can do, like Andrea said earlier, is to build trust with your clients. I had to go back and DM every one of those people who purchased it that day and tell them, like, I am so sorry. That was not ruby. That was pink tourmaline. And that you'd be surprised how understanding people can be. I was beating myself up so fucking bad that night. Because as like a crystal shop owner, you're expected to get it right the first time every time. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So like the pressure is on for you. And to like get it back wrong like that one time, it does suck. But also like don't be too hard on yourself. If it happens, it probably will. Just be transparent with people, let them know. Or
Mhm.
like the way you're doing it, you're still gonna sell it, but you're gonna be transparent and let them know, like, hey,
Yeah.
yeah. And some people will buy it. Like some people
And I'm
don't mind.
and what I'll do is, I've had them for so long, it's like not even anything that I'm looking to like sell to like actually make profit. So I'm just gonna sell them
Mhm.
at wholesale price. Not
Yeah.
even just gonna sell them to get them out of here. And they're still a natural crystal. They're just
Mhm.
dyed. So
Mhm.
they're really good for chakra work. They're good for just decor, So I'm like, whatever. And for so long I had them sitting on my shelves, just like me mugging them, like, I never want to sell these. And now I'm like, let it go, let it go, let it
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, and I think like that, I feel you on that because it's kind of like you kick yourself in the ass for it, like you do. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know what, your customers love you and they're gonna understand. And if somebody wants it, it'll be what it'll be. There is somebody out there for every crystal, like really. There's some people who don't care if it's aura plated or if it's dyed or whatever. They like that. That's the
There's
aesthetic
people
that
that
they go for.
specifically only sell those kind of like,
Mhm.
aura crystals.
Yeah, yeah. So don't be afraid if something like that happens. Um, have you got, oh yeah, we already asked that. So how do you price your crystals? This one came from Jade. I know it was a little bit of a long one, so let me go back up. He said, I have a question. How do you price your crystals? A shop out there states that triple the price for you as a wholesalers and double the price for overseas is how you're supposed to price.
So there's no supposed to price. I feel that everything, as far as what I've came across, every crystal is pretty much sold differently. If you get it by like the pound or the kilo, really easy. Get a food scale. Do your markup depending on what you think, because you can't say 3 times the price and all you ship in is a box from Walmart with newspaper. You didn't, you're profiting way over. But maybe someone that buys boxes that are made with their logo and go all out, they need to price up more, because part of your order is their packaging. And obviously when you're in a business, you need to profit to survive. If you are underpricing, you'll never profit and you'll never be able to make it. So it just depends on what you are paying, first of all, and what all in comes in your business. Are you offering free shipping? Because you have to think about that. Do you buy bubble wrap? Do you need this? Do you need that?
Yeah.
Do you include a free sticker? All of that's included. So you literally have to sit down and figure out your cost
Hmm.
to the T. What does everything cost? And then figure out how much you need to price. And also it depends on rarity, um, and retail value. So you have to look at the market and see what are people pricing Kundalini citrine at. What are, and
Hmm.
typically that gives you an idea. But it all goes on your price first and foremost, because like I said, I can get flour I get at 30 a kilo and someone else is buying it at 70 a kilo here in the US. That's their wholesale price. So it just depends on what you
Yeah.
paid. Every company sells, even wholesalers sell at different prices,
Exactly.
and prices change. People,
Hmm.
depending on how rare the crystal is, the mine,
Yeah.
prices change all the time. So you just have to go day by day, really.
Yeah, the thing is about the crystal business, it's not like, if you're running like a lingerie store and the same, this is, forgive my example, but whatever, like you're buying the same like 100 panties for 50 cents each and then selling them, and that same style of panties is never going to change. The price is never going to change. But with crystals, it's different because the price will continuously change all the time because
Yeah.
there's like, for example, blue Caribbean calcite. It like popped up in like 2019, and then it was like the new thing, so everybody was selling it for super high. The
Mhm.
wholesalers were selling it for super high, and then it kind of like, you know, it was popular
And
and
now
like
it's cheap again.
it was cheap because they thought they were gonna have it forever, and then they didn't.
Sorry,
And
brother.
then now it's like up again.
Yeah, you know what's funny? So carnelian is really popular right now, and I
Uh-huh,
was on the phone with one of my vendors
uh-huh,
on FaceTime last night at like midnight because she was one of my Chinese vendors,
uh-huh.
and she goes, carnelian went up like $50 a kilo, and I was like, what? You know, it was like one of the cheaper ones, and
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, it's in like it's selling out, like we can't find it, and like all she had was like tumbled stones, and I'm like, really? And then I see that carnelian is trending on TikTok. So just so you guys know, if you want carnelian right now, it's gonna be expensive until the trend dies.
Yeah.
Citrine is always expensive because they know whatever you guys see, it's not. That's why I don't like the like, oh, you're supposed to mark up 500%, because some people do it and it's wrong. They're not even putting it into their brand. They're not putting it into their packaging or anything. And these vendors see that and they saw, oh, I sold it to them 5 times less than what they're selling it. So the next person's gonna get it 5 times higher. And
Mhm.
they ruin it for everybody, really,
Yeah.
when you're marking it up way over what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to make profit,
Hmm.
but if you're going way over, then it's just wrong. It's like those people that buy from like indigenous artists and then sell it 10 times what they bought it for. It's just not right.
Yeah. So yeah, for example, like if from a consumer perspective, like if you're a client and you're watching this and you see me selling flower agate, maybe it's like a tower for like 25, but then you see Kagomi's crystals is selling it for 32, and it's the same size, same shape, same quality. Is it that Andrea is cheating you? No, it's not. It's that her vendor maybe sold it to her at a more expensive price than what I got it.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I think like clients sometimes think that like maybe another shop is trying to rack up the price intentionally from ill intent. And it's not that way. It just depends on, like you said, like who the supplier is, how much they're selling it for, and all that.
Yeah, and like there's very expensive like brands. Like I've shopped from, like, say for example, let's say I buy something from a candle shop that it was very expensive. The candle was very expensive. But her packaging was amazing. She had a custom box. It came with a free crystals. It came with a free burn paper. It came with instructions. It came with care cards. It came with so much. I'm paying for that. I'm not just paying for the candle. I'm paying for the entire experience. So just make sure you feel that you're getting your money's worth out of the transaction, to
Uh-huh.
trust the seller. Like if they're marking up so much and they're sending it to you in just bubble wrap and not even a business card, then you're kind of like, huh, that felt weird. But then you buy something from someone and it was a decent price and you got a whole package, an
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah. For sure. The next question is, do you use paid ads? Are they effective? If so, how much is a good amount to invest?
So when I started off, I did do a lot of ads, and it was a big mistake on my end because I just spent money and wasted it. I was spending around 250 a month and seeing very little growth.
Mhm.
Um, and I completely stopped for a long time. And that's when I started to do my research on organic growth and all of that. And let me tell you, organic growth is going to bring you more sales. Um, Paid ads are good when you already have a post that went viral or semi-viral. Your
Mhm.
whole goal is to get on the explore page if you're for Instagram. The entire goal, if you want to get a lot of engagement and customers, is to be on the explore page. So it doesn't really matter if you pay. An ad is going to show to people that are already interested in this area, and they're going to get a shit ton of them. So you're going to show up, the next shop is going to show up, it's just going to keep going. Yes,
Mhm.
a little bit is good, but now I spend maybe $10 a month, and it's mainly on Etsy
Hmm.
because I just didn't see a return. And I learned now that if I wait and let a post get a good engagement, like say over 1,000 likes, then promote it, then it's worth it. Then my $15 goes really far.
Yeah. Yeah. So for paid ads, I actually do paid ads, but I have to say that recently I haven't seen as much return on them as I used to. What my advice would be is I've noticed for me, it only works if I take a bomb ass picture. It's gotta be like that one of those fucking pictures that like takes
Yeah.
off. If it's just like a one that you took when you were in a hurry and you just had to get one in really quick because you got to keep up with your content and all that, like don't use those. Those are not gonna, you're not gonna get any return on that. But if it's a really really good picture that you know is gonna get a whole bunch of likes, then I've seen at least like my budget is $100 over 1 week, and I'll see at least 80 follows. But
Okay.
how often do you have time to make a really bomb picture?
Yeah.
So
I see
it
what you're
that
saying.
yeah. So it just it depends on that.
Yeah, I just didn't like I didn't have a good experience with Instagram or Facebook ads. Like I
Mhm,
said, I do right now. I have my Etsy set at $2 a day. So
mhm,
$2 from whatever sales I make the week, they'll take it out and it stops at $2. And theirs I like because Etsy does Google ads. So say someone types in Star Rose
mhm.
Quartz Sphere, I'll pop up in
Yeah.
Google and it'll direct them to Etsy to my shop. And that's why I like their ads. But I
Mhm.
just like I said on Instagram, I was doing a lot. I was doing like 250 a month. This is because I was funding it with my full-time job, so it was like whatever. And I
Uh-huh.
was doing it when I had no followers, like 10 likes a picture, and I did it, and I would get like 100 likes. So it wouldn't be worth it. I'd get like 3 follows. So for me, it wasn't worth it. What I would say to any small business right now looking to grow is Reels.
Oh
Get
yes.
on trends and get on Reels ASAP. I've had so many Reels go viral in the last few weeks, and my followers have grown so much. That's the reason I was able to hit 10K, now 13. It's been really fast, but it's
Yeah.
because of my Reels.
Yeah.
Repurpose them from TikTok, do whatever you need to do, but
Mhm.
Instagram is pushing Reels right now. It's so fresh and new.
Yes, for sure. You guys, listen, I'm a 30-year-old mom with 3 kids, 4 if I count my husband. I cringed. I cringed and I fought it and I didn't want to, but I gave in because it's do or die. It's your business. You're gonna have to. If you want to see any substantial growth, you're gonna have to. Period. Period. You're gonna have to. So I sure enough did, and like you said, like the amount of exposure that you get from Reels is through the roof. Like insane, you're missing out. Like there's no way you can run an online business. It's, if you have a mom and pop shop in like a neighborhood in a city and you're like more like of a community type of business where you're gonna get traffic anyway, okay, I get it. But maybe you don't have to. But when you're an online business where the only way people are gonna find you is online, they're not going to know you exist if you're not putting yourself out there, right?
Mhm.
So I'm a huge introvert. I hated having to do it at the beginning, but you know what? You get used to it after a while, and it gets fun. It's not that
Yeah,
bad.
that's one thing. Like I said, I was into makeup, and I was sure when I was like 18 that I was going to be a makeup guru, like on YouTube and Instagram. Like I was convinced, and that's all I did was do makeup looks. I did live streams. I would do collabs. I would generate money for the store I worked for, like the company I worked for, through my Instagram. And that's guys. That's how I knew that I could start a business. I said, hey, if I can generate money for another company, I
Yeah.
can generate money for myself. So yeah, definitely just it's that simple. Like it's crazy because you put so much into your business.
Yeah.
There's so many little things. I know this is probably really overwhelming. There's a lot of info, but there is so much to business. You are never gonna stop learning. You have to put yourself out there, if you want to really sell your product, because you're not just selling your product, you're selling you. You're selling who you are. You're selling your brand. You're selling where you came from, what you're doing, and why you're doing it.
Mhm. Exactly. I definitely agree with that. And it's hard because especially like the crystal community tends to be like in line with the spiritual community. And a lot of the
Yeah.
people in the spiritual community are like sensitive, empaths, you know, they tend to be for the most part the introverts. And so I understand and I've been there, you know, especially like coming from fucking accounting, dude. Like that is the most like stiff motherfucking job like ever. Like I wasn't like ever thinking that I was gonna be putting my face out there talking about fucking crystals and sage, not sage, but like Palo Santo and like stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
never did I ever. But you know, I think a part of also spiritual growth, if you want to look at it this way, is learning how to embrace like all aspects of yourself. So if you're feeling like, you know, that you can't do this because you're an introvert or whatever, well then you can see this as an opportunity, you know, to like better yourself, to evolutionize, right? So you don't always have to like limit yourself.
And a big example of that is one of the reasons I didn't do life sales when I first started. I did like sales posts and story sales in just Etsy. It's
Hmm.
because I hated my voice. I'm like, oh, I have such a deep voice. People, all these girls that do lives, they all have such high-pitched girly voices. And here I come, and I'm kind of, I don't talk so properly. I was a makeup artist, so we're always so free,
Uh-huh.
And when I started doing lives, people are like, "Oh my God, I love your voice. Your voice is so relaxing." I'm like, "What? Are you okay? Shit, let me start an ASMR." No, I'm just kidding. I was like, "Really?" Like, so my biggest insecurity, now I get compliments on my voice every live show, and it's like, what? So
Yeah.
don't be shy.
I love your voice. Someone is asking, will this be saved for later? Yes, this will be saved, and we'll be posting it up on YouTube. I don't think Andrea has her channel up yet, but I recently started mine like a week ago, and I'll be posting this one up. So you guys can watch it here or there, either. But Andrea, I'll send you the YouTube link later so you can download it and have it on your drive as well if you ever want to like upload it later on your site.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then let me see, next question. Um, what would be a good amount for your initial investment?
Um, I would say if you're looking to get everything from like shipping supplies to a good amount of inventory, a printer, labels, all the things you need, I would say start with at least 500 at the minimum. Have
Mm-hmm.
like an emergency fund, like at least.
Yeah. Um, that's a good amount. Like I said, I started with 2000, but that's definitely not like where you need to start. I think 500 is I've had friends who've started at 300.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the
There
lowest
really
I've
is
seen
no
people start.
there
Hmm.
really is no like limit, because if you like, I started off, I didn't have any shipping supplies. I just kept like all my recycled like Amazon. I was using newspapers at first to wrap up. I didn't have anything.
Yeah,
And I just bought a couple $100 worth of inventory. This is like the very beginning.
yeah.
And I just, as I went and bought boxes. Like I had one sale every 2 weeks, so I went and got that box when I was ready. So don't feel pressured to have everything. I also used my brother, my poor brother. He's
Oh.
been here. He's been here the whole way. I used his laptop for a
Uh-huh.
long time, and I remember because he makes beats, so he'd be making music and in his own world, and I'm like, tuck tuck tuck, can I print some labels? And at that time, it was just like, it just sucked because I had to always borrow his laptop. But you start from something, and now I was able to afford myself a Mac and buy a roller printer, and everything is so much quicker. So
Yeah.
don't be tough on yourself. Just start however you can.
Yeah, just start, just do it. Like that, what is that reel that's going around where they're like, do the thing. I'm too scared.
Yes.
Just do it. Learn on the go.
And you're never going to be ready. That's like a big advice for you guys. You're always going to say, I used to always say before I launched my business, oh, when I save enough money, oh, when I get promoted, oh, when this, oh, when that, oh, next year, oh, Monday. Stop making excuses and just do it, because you'll always find another excuse.
For sure. Yeah, don't just jump. Just jump. Just do it for sure. There's you'll never stop like giving yourself reasons why not to if you don't just do it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Someone is asking weird question, but how do you learn when full moon and Mercury retrograde and things like that are? I think you can follow astrologers. If you go to your search on Instagram, search for the hashtags astrology, tarot, and all those. You can follow those hashtags, and you'll start to see a lot of content. And but I can see why you're asking that. It's probably because you do need to have, again, the crystal business kind of aligns with
Oh
spirituality.
yeah.
So you want to know when to tell people. A lot of people are going to ask you spiritual questions. Like what crystals are good for Virgo season, or what crystals are good for the full moon, blah blah blah. So you will want to educate yourself on those things if you're not educated on it already.
And
Mm-hmm.
you learn as you grow. Don't feel pressured. I know a lot of crystals properties at the top of my head now,
Oh yeah.
just from 2 years of doing it. But you don't know everything, and like I always during my lives, my people know I have my note cards. I'm like, okay, let me tell you guys the properties of this, but I have it written down because I really want to tell you guys this specific detail, this specific fact. Don't be afraid to show that you are willing to put the work in to be informed. You don't we're not memory cards. You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to remember the top of your head what this specific crystal does, but just have your notes ready for your customers,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, it's very connected to the spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be willing, to answer those kind of questions. It's like
Yeah.
when I did makeup, people were always asking me about skincare.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to happen that there's going to be times, especially when it's like a new crystal. One, it's a new crystal on the market, or two, it's a crystal that you just haven't worked with. If you do
Hmm.
practice spirituality, it's just one that you haven't worked with before. And that's not to say that that makes you any less spiritual. Like, I've had lives where like I'm showing a crystal and they're like, what are the spiritual properties of that one? I've never worked with this one. I have like my go-tos for abundance, wealth,
Yeah.
prosperity. I have my go-tos for self-love. I have my go-tos for you name it. But so since I haven't worked with this one, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And then I will always open the floor for the people that are in my live to comment. If you know the answer, you can comment it. You
Yep.
know, and we help each other out that way. It doesn't. You don't feel like you have to be like fucking Merlin, the fucking wizard, and you know all this shit. Like, yeah, you don't have to. It's
Yeah, and
great to, but you don't have to.
it's better to be honest too, and like, oh, let me search it up for you guys. Like I said, I always take the time and say, I don't know, but I'll search it up for you guys in a second if you want to. My brother will be on the tablet, looking it up for me already during the sale. I think the transparency builds trust. So
Mm-hmm,
again,
mm-hmm.
use those little opportunities to build trust anytime you have. Anytime there's an opportunity, do it. Be honest with people. Don't. It's better than to bullshit and say a property that's not even aligned with it, because
Yeah,
people are intuitive and they'll know that you're
yeah.
full of shit or you're bullshitting
Mm-hmm,
or whatever.
mm-hmm. Yes. You give me so much confidence, Andrea, says pretty little Hazer.
Oh, hi, pretty little Hazer.
Oh, I love that.
Hey, girl,
She's an
hey.
Aries. That's why you're an Aries, right?
Yes, I'm super fiery.
Yes. I love my Aries. So do you have a system to keep track of orders?
Just cry. No.
Right.
um, so it's so crazy because when it was one order, it was like so easy. You package that order, you got it out.
Yeah.
When it's 10 orders, it's still manageable. But now that I'm doing 50 or more a week, it does get insane. The best advice is just stay as organized as possible. Um, I like to set up boxes, like actual shipping boxes, and have them ready during the live sale, and I fill them up. So when I go to ship, everything's already in the box it's getting shipped at. So you'll hear me tell my brother, like during the live, can you get her a bigger box? That means her order is big enough to go in the next box. So I'm not already prepared then, so nothing gets mixed up. I used to do the plastic bins, but
Mhm.
I found that I would lose sticky notes, or things would, like not fit in there, and they're like rolling on to the next part when you have the bubble wrap on it. So I stopped doing that. I would say just try to stay as organized and
Mhm.
don't rush it. When you rush and you're trying to get through things, that's when you make mistakes. Take your time, and you're a one person business if you're a small online business. So don't be so hard on yourself, and just try to find a system that works for you. Everyone does it a little differently.
For sure. I sell mostly on during my live sales. I'm not on Etsy. I used to be, but that was like because before I got into crystals, I was doing tarot and just like other like intention oils and stuff like that. And so I would use Etsy for that. But then once I started doing the live sales, I just kind of like it's a lot of work goes into it. So I couldn't do tarot anymore. I couldn't do like the intention oils, so I shut down my Etsy. It's still up. You could probably look it up and it'll pop up, but nothing's there. So for me, it's all live sales. I have a website, but I haven't been paying as much attention to it as I
Yeah.
should. But an advice that I would have for keeping track of orders during the live sale is like for the way I do it, everybody has a different system and you can play with this and tweak it to make it your own. But for me, I'm the one hosting the live, going through the crystals and showing them. And as the claims come in, my husband is next to me and he's on his laptop. And all like, we have behind him in his desk is another table where all of the baskets are, where all the claims are going in. So we still use the baskets with the sticky note for each person. And so that's our system, right? A claim comes in, I give it to him, and when he's on his laptop, he has a spreadsheet and he
Oh,
is documenting. So we'll have like we'll have a spreadsheet for each month. So we'll have like this month we're in June, right? So we have June, and then underneath on the tabs, we have a tab for each live that there was in June.
mm,
So you can always go back. So like if I want to go back to like January, I can go back to January. I'll open up that spreadsheet. And then if I have a specific live in January that I'm looking for to backtrack on anything, I can look under that tab and I'll see
mhm.
everybody who purchased that day and what they purchased and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool too. And I bet you it helps with invoicing too, because you're like already seeing it already there. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm a really big fan of QuickBooks Self-Employed, and I have my PayPal and Etsy, which are the two main form of payments that I do, and everything is linked there, so I can see everybody's name and what they bought when they bought there. So that's one of the best ways I keep track. Like if
Yeah.
someone goes, I haven't gotten my order, it's been 2 weeks, I
Yeah.
quickly search up their name and it pops up, and I can find their tracking right away. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's a
Yeah,
good
I
advice.
for sure. Yeah, I love Etsy. I remember having, when I had my Etsy, it sends them tracking information, it sends them everything. It's so organized. I
Yeah, I
really
love it
like
still.
that.
I know some people don't, but I love it still. I
Uh-huh.
get a, it just generates me its own sales, like not even Instagram related. Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people just find me from Facebook on Etsy.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So what is a good, oh, this is a random question. What's a good scale to buy? Like a weight?
Oh, like the food scale, like for food scale for pricing or the scale for shipping.
They didn't mention, but I guess we could touch on both.
So I got both of mine on Amazon because I got them both just like quickly when I started my business. Like for shipping, I literally just use a simple one like this. This is called, it just searched up
Yeah.
on Amazon shipping scale, and
Mm-hmm.
this one tells you the pounds and everything right here. So this is what I use for shipping, and then I got the food scale on Amazon too, which are those, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's too heavy to pick up, but it's like a big scale, like a huge one.
Like the one at the
And
meat market.
yeah, like the ones at the market, and it'll tell you how much you type in the price per kilo, and you weigh it, and it'll tell you an exact price, and that's how I price most of my crystals. So that scale is really important if you are a crystal seller. You
Yes.
see
Yes.
them in the Chinese live sales too, the
Yeah.
wholesale ones. You see those
And
a
it has
lot.
conversions on it and stuff. Yes.
It just converts it for you. I used to
Mm-hmm.
do it all by hand, and whoa, it's a long time if you want to
Mm-hmm.
weigh them, if you want to price them by weight.
Yes, I definitely agree. I at the beginning I didn't have that the food scale and it was so hard. Once I got it, I was like, has this been all my life?
Yes,
It's
me
definitely
too.
a plus. Then someone else is asking, what's the best company to ship crystals?
I love and use USPS. It's fast, the cheapest. Um, my local post office, they're so sweet to me. Like I built a relationship with them now. They see me and they open the back door and bring out a cart to me. They already like they know me. They're such humble, hardworking people. You can even schedule pickups with them. UPS is great, but it's expensive. If you're not shipping heavy stuff, like I've shipped UPS before when someone had a huge order and it was just like cheaper to go with them and faster. But small business perspective, especially when you're starting off, it's not a good idea to use private companies.
Yeah, for sure. I only use USPS. I've
Yeah.
never used anything else.
And I've only had 2 lost packages out
Hmm.
of like 3,000 plus.
Hmm.
So really, it's pretty good. I've had super late packages, obviously, but
Yeah.
stolen, lost, or damaged, I haven't had too many, which I'm really blessed. But I know like people have like horror stories with USPS, but I've luckily have never, knock on wood, never had a bad experience with them.
Yeah, same. I've never had anything lost, but I have had those like now every now and then there's those orders that for some reason take a whole month to get to
Yes, especially
them.
last year, the
Hmm.
COVID thing. Oh
Oh, yeah.
my, every small business knows because it was not just it
Oh,
was UPS and FedEx because people were like switching over and it was the same thing. It was
yeah,
bad. I had custom orders from Brazil that took me 2 months to get. I remember I was on inventory for a long time because I
really.
put all my cookies there and they weren't coming in.
Dang, that sucks, dude. That was the worst. I remember that time. I hope it doesn't happen like that again this
I know.
winter. I know. So next question is, how do you get on Explore?
Ooh, so the algorithm is literally a formula.
Hmm.
There's like myths and there's like straight up Instagram is telling you what to do. Um, the main thing is you want to have engagement right away within the first 10 minutes. And this is something that I learned like a long time ago when I was doing makeup and playing with the algorithm for the first time.
Hmm.
You want to get engagement right away, which is why you'll see a lot of us shops incentivize, hey, leave a comment and I'm picking a winner to send a free crystal to, or pick a comment and you'll get 10% off your next order. Um, leave a comment, sorry, because that is like really, really important when it comes to the algorithm. It has to know that the people that are first of all following you are engaging with you because if your followers aren't engaging with you, you're not going to get on the explore page. So for
Hmm.
example, whenever I have a picture that goes viral, I always notice the home is is the number one first because you can see where you're getting your insight, your engagement from. It'll always be like super hot home, like it'll say like 1,000 people saw it and 400 liked, and then after a few hours the explorer starts picking it up. I don't really, even though I use hashtags, I don't really have many posts that went viral from a hashtag. It's always the explore page. It always says explore, 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 and
Hmm.
that's what it is. You have to get the right engagement right when your post comes out. So you have to be on there. You can't post and go, okay, now I'm gonna go ride my bike and not respond. No, you have to hop back on and respond to people in comments, incentivize them to comment, and make your post meaningful. I notice when I have a longer caption, don't just go lifestyle Friday, see you there. What does that tell anybody? You're just telling me what you're doing. You're making it about you. Make it about the customer. Why do you need to join my lifestyle? Oh, because you have a chance to win a giveaway. And guess what? I have this stone and these are the properties and they're gonna benefit you. So
Hmm.
um make the post meaningful is the most important thing if you
Yeah,
want to go viral.
for sure. And there's like whole like courses done on like how you can increase engagement and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So that's something that I'd research too if you want to learn more about how you can do that. But next question is, how do you track taxes? Do you need an accountant?
I don't use an accountant, but if you're not good with math, definitely get one. I was in the business aspect in my corporate job. I was working for a makeup brand, but I was the sales and education coordinator.
Mhm.
So all I did was look at sales all day, sales and profit, what's going on, what stores are selling. All I did was numbers and inventory and all that. So when it came to my taxes, I just taught myself. Like I learned what a Schedule C was. I learned how to separate everything. I taught myself that. I took courses, because I couldn't afford an accountant when I first started.
Mhm.
And secondly, I'm an Aries, so I want to do it all myself.
Mhm.
I literally was like, I want to be the one doing it. And I have some friends that are accountants, and they've told me like, hey, you should hire me as your accountant, jokingly. And I always
Mhm.
say like, yeah, but it's so personal that I want to
Mhm.
do it. I want to do it. So I would say if you're good with numbers and you're confident that you are going to dedicate the time to learn, you can do it yourself. But if you don't want to do that, numbers are not your thing, get an accountant, make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I work in accounting, so
Yeah.
it was
You're
dumb for
like,
me to
yes.
go hire someone else when I can do it myself. So yeah, for me, but if you are not, if you have no business background whatsoever, to be quite honest, it's not that hard. Watch a couple of YouTube videos, you'll be all right. You don't need to get an accountant. Not right now. Maybe when you're
Yeah.
making like an outrageous amount of money per year, okay, but for now you don't. Not starting off.
And that's something that not just accountants, but hiring people in general, it's something that has been a really heavy subject on my mind because
Mhm.
I have gotten very busy. It's to the point, like this month, for example, I haven't had like a day off, like where I used to be able to say, okay, I'm taking Saturdays and Sundays off. I'm not doing anything, nothing business related. And
Mhm.
this last month, I've been doing, whether it's pictures, editing, quick invoices in the morning or whatever it is, I have not taken a full day off.
Mhm.
And it's telling me that I need help. And like I have my brother helping me with shipping and packet with the live sales now, which is great,
Mhm.
but there's still like accounting that I do. I Thursdays are my accounting days, so I'm
Mhm.
doing that all day, or I'm updating my Etsy all day. When I could hire someone for say $18 an hour on Fiverr that can update my Etsy for me when I'm ready for an update, and
Mhm.
my time is worth so much more than that. As the business owner, time is your most important asset, and I need to stop being such an Aries and let people help me and hire help if I want to grow my business. And that's something that this girl that I call my mentor, she's not like a direct mentor, but everything she says to me I take like to heart. And she said
Mhm.
like the biggest and the most important decision I made in my life was hiring people and start getting help if you want to grow your business. And I do want to grow my business.
Mhm.
Like I've mentioned it to my followers before, I want to do wholesale really bad. Like I want to be in the mines and I want to
Mhm.
do all of that. And I won't get there if I don't hire help. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to get people to help you. That's something that I need to learn because I need to take a workload off of myself because I try to do everything. Everything.
Girl, I feel you 110%. I'm not an Aries, but I'm a Virgo, and we Virgos are perfectionists. We
My
are
dad's a Virgo. I'm like,
freaks. We want everything so perfect. We want nobody to motherfucking touch it. Nobody touch it.
yeah,
Only I can do it. Nobody's gonna do it as good as me. Nobody can do it as good as me. Just don't touch it. I'd rather you not touch it. That was me. But eventually, like you said, you get to a place where like it it becomes bad for your mental health to want
yeah,
to do it all. And so for me, recently, I've had to hire. I hired two excellent people. I love them so much. They're doing our shipping. So after the lives, they come in the next day and they do all the packaging for me. And that has helped free up so much time. And at first, I fought this so much. And even like the first day, I was like, I'm gonna regret this. I don't need to do it. I should just be doing it myself. But once I started to see, like, oh wow, I have time for these other things, and I started to see how that time that I was investing on other things was yielding, more business too. I was like, okay, I really did need this. Like,
yeah,
you really do need to learn. And I know it's hard. You do need to learn to loosen up a bit sometimes and let other
yeah,
people help you.
definitely. And like that's one thing like that I even my brother helps me with shipping, but I do all the like the detail. Like I bubble wrap everything. Everything is bubble wrapped at me because I am so like controlling over that I want to make sure everything is bubble wrapped the way I want it. And like he does like specific things, but I want to do the like very important parts. And
Yeah.
I know when it comes to shipping, that's something that I needed to do a long time ago is
Uh-huh.
get more help. Like not just him, but get someone to take in my place to teach them how I wrap everything and actually do it for me. Because as like I said, as a business owner, you can pay someone, you know, not even you don't even have to pay anyone low. You can pay someone a good amount an hour that is still not worth your time. That's still your time is worth $500 an hour. There's no because as a business owner, there's so many things to do that if you added up all your jobs, you would have to pay yourself like 500 an hour. So get someone to do the work for you, and you'll free up more time and have more time to grow your business.
Mhm.
Definitely.
For sure. And it's hard, especially like for me, that was one of the things, the bubble wrapping. It's like, it's such a big deal because literally, like, you don't have a storefront. This is like the experience that a client gets when they open your package is
Yeah.
your storefront. So for me, that was so important. Like, but I think, you know, if you can just, you know, voice how your expectations in a clear, concise way, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to like cut in as much as you do. I used to have my little sister helping me before. She's a teenager, so like I had to consistently inspect her bubble wrap because you
Yeah.
know teenagers aren't like as attentive, so I would have to do that. But with these girls that I've hired, they're our age, they're older, they are responsible, and you know I told them exactly how I wanted to do it, and they've been doing it, and sure enough, nothing has gone wrong. So I'm
Did you
so
hire like friends or family that you already knew, or was it completely like strangers?
they were strangers to me, but not to my husband. So
Okay.
they used to work with him, and so he didn't have like a super close relationship with them, but I think it was just like in a he mentioned he mentioned something about the business in like a work chat, and the girls responded that if you know if he ever needed help with shipping and stuff like that, they'd be more than glad to. And I do they sign NDAs and stuff they're not supposed to say, but they work for social media platforms. They're fucking responsible as fuck. Like these aren't no like little kids, you know what I mean? They're responsible people who right now, like everybody else, things are crazy because of COVID, so they're experiencing transitions and stuff in their jobs. So right now this is just something they need for extra money.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it
And that's
works.
what I get a lot of my family that like I trust my brother, which is why he helps me. We're
Mhm.
like we're like twins. Like we've been close since we were kids, so he's like the person I trust the most in the world. But like I've had a lot of family like, hey, let me help you. And they're genuine and I know they want to help me,
Mhm,
but I'm
mhm.
like I almost want not necessarily a stranger, but someone that's not like family or a friend of mine directly. So if I do have to correct them, because I feel like I'm so empathetic that if it's someone I like even when I try to correct my brother, like we kind of butt heads, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I don't, I when I if I do hire anyone else, I want it to be definitely like someone that I know, but not like family directly or
Mhm.
friends. Just to have that, like you said, like
Yeah.
be more like strong and like this is the way I want it done without,
Mhm.
you know, feeling like, oh, it's my cousin, so I don't want to tell her that she's doing it wrong or whatever, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. That or they're too comfortable with giving you some back talk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or not doing it right. And you're like, what the heck?
Totally, totally. I know what you mean. So the next question is, and we're getting, actually, we're already over time, but I know this is like a hot topic for everyone. So I think this is like, I have one, two, three, four, five more questions.
Okay.
And then we'll cut it off there. Is that okay with you, or do you have
Yeah.
to?
Yeah. We'll try to answer them a little more short.
Yes, yes. Okay. So the next question is, what are good crystals to start with when opening a crystal business?
You, I would say the best advice is go look at what's trending at the time. That's going to be your best bet. If carnelian is
Mhm,
trending, stock up on carnelian.
mhm,
If you know, like you said, Caribbean calcite, when that craze happened, stock up on that because that's what people are searching for. If it's
mhm,
whatever's trending, if people are searching for, and you can never go wrong with the classics like amethyst, citrine,
mhm,
quartz, you
mhm,
know, agate.
mhm. Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're like on a budget, and you kind of maybe like, you don't have a lot of money to invest on like the more expensive pieces like pink amethyst or whatever, definitely start with the basics, right? The rose quartz, the aventurine, the jaspers, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's definitely a good start. Um, what about, oh, someone asked, did you have a business plan when you started?
Not necessarily. Like I said, I started it. I was going through a lot emotionally. I left a 7-year abusive relationship. I was at a job that I didn't feel appreciated or like I wasn't in love with it. And I was going through my spiritual awakening. And at first, I wanted to just sell crystal jewelry for my OGs. They know I was making bracelets, wire, like really simple wire wrap necklaces, and keychains.
Hmm.
And that's what I thought I wanted to do. I just wanted to do jewelry, and it was just because I wanted to do something for the love of it. Because I I always consider this my third business because I did freelance makeup, I did lashes, and both of those failed because I wasn't as passionate as I thought. Like this is passion. The way I am now, I was never like that with those businesses. And that's something I have to accept too. If you're not passionate, it's not working. Try something else, even if it's still in that niche.
Hmm.
And I just, I just kind of went for it. If you have a business plan, you're gonna be set up for success right away. You'll probably grow faster, etc. But you don't need one. You
Yeah,
can always learn as you go.
for sure. Um, and then I want to go back to like the fact that even if you like research business plans, the crystal market and crystal business is all just so different from traditional business just because of how like prices
Yeah.
fluctuate and all this stuff. So it's
Materials, yeah.
it's definitely hard to like say I didn't start with a business plan either. That's also because I have a degree in business, so I kind of already had like this like background knowledge that helped me make like the right decisions, I guess if you
Yeah.
could say. So I didn't feel the need to start a business plan. I kind of just like used my own rationale to make my moves.
Hmm.
But if this is like your first business or you don't have a background in business, I would just say that recording as much as you can is going to be your best friend. And maybe that's the accountant in me saying this, but I fucking love spreadsheets. I can do Excel all fucking day. Like I love Excel. I use it for everything. I use it for open boxes. I track my open boxes that
Yeah.
way. I track, every live sale I track that way. I track literally like all the expenses that I'm making because I have QuickBooks, like you said, self-employed. And before, when I wasn't using that, I was using Excel to track
Yeah.
what was a wholesale supplier expense, what was um,
Yeah.
my there's other subscriptions you'll have to pay. Like I pay Canva, right, for to
Yeah.
make my little graphics and just like all these other categories that you're gonna have to like either present to yourself or to a tax preparer at the end of the year. They're gonna say like, okay, how much did you make? And then how much went into inventory? How much went into like your gas going to the post office? How much went to
Yeah.
like your subscriptions, all these other things that you use? I have like an office. I don't have an office. I have an office. It's in my house. But I don't want people knowing where I live.
Yeah.
So when I print my labels, you'll get my package in the mail, and the address that you see, it says the Moon Artisan 7000 Mopac Suite 200. That is a virtual office that I
Yeah.
pay. So that's like my business address, and I pay like $100 a month to use that as a professional business address, so people don't have to. There's word people out there, like
Yeah.
especially on the internet, like you don't want to be putting like your business out there, your home, and all your information like that. Um, but yeah, just keep track, and you'll be okay. Keep track.
Yeah. One
Um,
way or another, keep track.
yes, just as long as you can figure out a system to trace your steps back, you'll be okay. What about gem shows? Any other than Tucson?
Oh yeah, Denver is the
Mhm.
second biggest. I'm going to Denver, so if anyone's going to the Denver Gem Show, I'll be there the 13th through the 17th, I think, or 16th. So if anyone's there, say hi. I'll be wholesale shopping there. Um, So yes, there's the New Jersey Gem Show, the Denver Gem Show, the Tucson is obviously the biggest. What's the other one? I'm in the Midwest. There's nothing really by us, unfortunately. Those are the top three that I know of, though: Tucson, Denver, and New Jersey, because a
Okay.
lot of my vendors go to those.
Okay. So yeah, I'm planning to go to Denver. Uh,
Awesome.
I know. Hopefully we will see each other there. Definitely. But also like you don't like I do want to stress the fact like at the beginning in my first year, I didn't have the money to spend to go to Tucson. So I feel like it's important to stress that and put that out there. Like if you don't have the money, honestly, like you don't need to go. Like you're not going to be any better off just because all the cool kids are there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not like a must. And like you said, they put the list of all the vendors anyway. So if it's like vendors you're trying to find, you can find them that way, you know? It's yes, there is a big return that you'll see from it. You're going to see great pieces because these wholesalers save their best prize
Yep.
pieces for the gem show. So
True.
there's still like, you know, a lot of value in going. But at the same time, if you can't afford it right now, definitely don't like put yourself in debt or in a position where like, you know, you're going to hurt yourself financially for going.
And the reason I say go through the list is because I've never, for example, gone to the Tucson Gem Show because like last year I couldn't go. I couldn't afford it. I had, just got laid off. No, it was right before I got laid off. So I was like in the middle. I think it was in Florida when it happened because I got promoted during
Mhm.
that time, right before I got laid off. So I couldn't afford to go. And then this year, it was in January 1st and then canceled and rescheduled for April. And it just happened to be the same week of my birthday that I had already planned things. So I was like, well, I already paid for it because we stayed like downtown Chicago. I
Uh-huh.
already paid for things. So I was like, I'm not going to just rush and go, even
Mhm.
though I had the money this time. But what I did was that I had vendors already that were going. So while they were there, they were FaceTiming me from the booth. I had one of them call me before people were there shopping, and I was picking out the pieces that I wanted before people that were at the show.
Yeah.
So the key is relationships. It doesn't matter if you're there or not, really,
Mhm.
nowadays with virtual everything.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I had a supplier like a few months ago post up a picture of like back in the 80s when they would go to the gem shows or no, it wasn't about a gem show. It was about oh they had posted a picture of a letter, a letter in an envelope with like fucking Polaroid pictures of a crystal. And he's like, back in the day when we didn't have the internet, we had to exchange letters and like
Oh,
send a Polaroid
look
picture
what
of
I
a
saw at the gem
crystal.
show.
I know that's crazy. Like we will never understand how easy we have it now with all
I
this.
know. It's so
Uh,
crazy how much times it. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for like the technology change because nowadays you can sell from your house. Like you used to have to wait for customers to walk in.
yeah, it's,
Definitely a blessing.
I know. I'm so grateful for these times. So BC is asking any sage advice on selling it in your shop.
Sage.
Hmm.
So I don't carry sage. I used to carry Palo Santo, but the person that I bought from kind of like disappeared for some reason.
Hmm.
And I only like to buy Palo Santo from branches that have naturally fallen, which is
Hmm.
harder to find. You'll get it really a lot more expensive. And I sold it at no profit. So I purposely sold it at only $1. So I
Hmm.
was not profiting on it. I bought it. It was like 98 cents a stick, and I was selling it for $1. So it was literally 2 cents. It was more so just to have it in the shop for people to cleanse. And like I said, when I lost that vendor, I just stopped carrying it because I didn't trust. Like there's a lot of Palo Santo in the market now that's sold that is trees that are like farm grown and like they just don't smell the same. So I've always stayed away from sage for the same reason as I don't have a reputable source for it.
Hmm.
And it depends on how you feel about it. Like for example, my I come from, Mexican background.
Hmm.
So a lot of my roots either go back to, Spanish from the colonization or indigenous roots.
Hmm.
So I could either make the argument that I can, and then people can make the argument that I can't use it.
Yeah.
So I prefer not to. I prefer, because my family didn't directly use, like my family has directly used Palo Santo for bug repellent, not spiritually. So I feel more comfortable using it. But sage has never been used in my family, so I stay away from it. Also, my dad would never let me burn sage in the house, so it just kind of works out. But I feel something very sacred like that, it's kind of hard to profit because it feels karmic. So just kind of go with your gut, and I would just say, with the new view of it, be very careful, because a lot of people will say that you are, taking advantage of it. So
Yeah. For me, I've had sage in my shop before, and like you, I'm also Mexican. But for me, like I have family in way back south, like by the border of Mexico, that own yerberias. I'm not sure if you know what yerberias are. Okay, so if you're not Spanish, you probably don't know what a yerberia is, but it's basically, you'll hear them also be called botanicas, and they're basically like the Mexican or Hispanic version of like a witch shop, I guess. Like you got
herbs, oils.
Yeah, all of that stuff. And so they have a community of from Mexico, women who harvest the sage, and we went half and half together on getting a big order, and that was way before like I like started to see like all this like on TikTok, all this stuff about like, and they bring really good points, so they're valid points. But I just felt like although all those arguments are valid, they apply differently to me just because of the spiritual background that I have and the genetic background that I have.
Yeah.
But like you
Something
said,
that's kind of personal, like person. It's like, it depends on you.
Yeah, yeah. So you can argue like, ethical points like all day, but I think like as like will I have sage again in the future? I'll probably use sage again in the future because I feel I'm okay to use it, but I won't sell it again because just, like I don't know if the person I'm buying it later is going to be, like somebody who is racially appropriating it or whatever. So I'm kind of enabling them if I continue to do that. So that's something I don't want to do.
And I think a big problem that people had, which it's a valid point, is the amount of profit that people were making and not acknowledging the fact that a person who has used it their whole life were probably ridiculed, and now here comes an influencer posting it and taking videos and doesn't really know the sacrifices that it's taken to get to that point. But you can even say the same for crystals. We're all using them now. We all love them. If you've ever been to Mexico, it's huge in Mexico. There's crystal stands everywhere. So it's something that's how I got into crystals when I went to Mexico with my family. But it's like, there's even people that say, you shouldn't use crystals if you're not this or this or that. So just be very careful with the way you're marketing, I would say. I think if you get sage and you're giving it out for free, for example, you're not looking to profit, and you have ties in it and your genetics and your family and your spirituality, then who are they to take it from you? Like you said, it goes by person. Just do what's comfortable for you. But at the same time, don't let people discourage you if it's something you really, really want to do.
Yeah.
Just have your facts. You gotta have facts nowadays.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. For the record, I like Palo Santo better than sage. Yeah. So what about, do you suggest your customers get insurance for their packages?
If you bought statement pieces or a huge order, which I consider, because crystals are expensive and they're heavy. So I consider like a big order, like say 150 or more. That means you bought a good amount, or you bought a statement piece. Yes, absolutely. Pay the extra $10 or whatever it is and get it insured, because as a small business, especially us, we're gonna try our best to package it as best as possible. But I
Mhm.
can't. I have no control if USPS decides to throw an 80-pound box on top of yours specifically, and something breaks. And a small business cannot afford, like Walmart, Amazon, to just refund you and move on. That's just not. It's not realistic for a small business. Every
Mhm.
refund comes directly out of our pocket.
Yeah.
So, especially with crystals, because you are aware that they're heavy, and all that, I'd say get the insurance if you're buying a lot or you're buying a statement piece and it's really worth it. If you're buying a $10 bracelet or one tower, no. Most
Mhm.
chances are if it breaks, the shop's gonna refund you a $10 crystal. It's
Yeah.
just a $300 order. It's gonna be hard for me to refund it to you,
Mhm.
especially knowing that it wasn't my fault. Because if you guys don't know, filing a claim with USPS is not a walk in the park. We cannot even file them for you guys. They want your information. They want your address, your name, and most of the time, I don't look at your address. I just print the label out. So all of that's really personal information that they want from you guys. So when you get to the point of filing a claim, it's literally it's the customer's responsibility. Even though I've helped every single time I've needed to, just know that once it's out of a business's hands, it's technically USPS is in charge of it, and that's why they offer the insurance, because they are aware of that.
Yeah, for sure. I've never had anybody ask for insurance, thankfully, but if they ever wanted to, it's not something I would deny. It's definitely a really good option to have, especially in the winter time when things tend to get crazy with
Yeah,
USPS.
and if you guys didn't know, priority, I'm not sure. I think it's starting at small flat rate. You get insured up to $50
Mhm.
automatically.
Mhm.
So if that's something for you guys to know, if you're a small business,
Yeah.
I like to ship a lot of priority. If you guys know, I'll put your box in an envelope so it's priority
Mhm.
because it's insured. If I was to just ship it out in just a box, it wouldn't be. So that's also a good. So say your crystals were $50,
Mhm.
you're insured up to the $50 through your claim.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely push open boxes a lot just because I really want them to be able to fit in as much as they can into that medium flat rate or large flat rate or whatever.
Yep.
So one, they get it there faster. And I've also noticed for some reason they tend to be better taken care of when it's,
Yes.
yeah, they don't
So
get
here's a trick
as
too, guys, because sometimes you do ship priority and it's not a medium. I
hmm
got these stickers. Like it was a like whenever you have a package, because I use 7 by 5 by 3 boxes, sometimes two, and sometimes I don't put those in envelopes, and the shipping won't be that expensive for priority. So I bought these stickers are free on their free shipping section, free
hmm
shipping supplies, and for some reason they take care of those packages better when it has the
Yeah.
little priority sticker and it says tracked and insured. So they know, like, oh, this is an important package or whatever. It's just something that triggers them for some reason. So
Yeah.
free packaging supplies, guys. Go on USPS.com.
Yeah. Yeah, I love priority. Um, Then someone else had asked, what was the brand of your scale?
What was the what?
The brand of your weight scale.
Oh, I don't think it has a brand, guys.
You could
It just
literally go on
says
Amazon and get like
electronic compact scale.
electronic
SF550.
screenshot
I'm
it.
not sure. Here it is, guys.
I need
I'm gonna start selling
scales.
scales. No, I'm just kidding. This is it right here, though. I put the medium flat rate and everything on this. It holds a lot of weight.
Yeah, it does. That little thing holds a lot of weight. For me, I went on Amazon and literally the one that says best seller, the one that comes up as the best seller, that's the one I got, and it's like a $20
Yeah,
scale.
and if you guys have your license, you can sign up for Amazon Business, and
Yes.
you get a couple dollars off. It's not
Mhm.
you don't get wholesale, you get bulk
Yeah.
prices. But I'll get like the white boxes when I'm like emergency, not ordering like a big bunch or
hmm
like anything. You get a couple dollars off. When I bought my Mac, I got $50 off because it was Amazon Business. So just a tip for you guys.
Yeah. Someone else is asking, what about Square? Do you use that for payments? I don't use Square. What about you?
No, I've never. I only outside of PayPal and Etsy, which you can enter your own form of payment that way. I use Cash App but only because customers ask. I don't like anything that doesn't have buyer or seller protection, which
Mm-hmm.
PayPal and Etsy both do. So it'll protect you and it protects me. So we
Mm-hmm.
can't scam each other. But Cash App, there's no protection and you can't have business activity or they'll shut your account down, which is why I don't have a Venmo. A lot of people are like, oh, don't you have Venmo? No, they shut me down because they don't. When I was doing makeup, they shut me down because someone paid me on there. They don't allow business activity. So I would say for your protection, definitely stick to Square or PayPal or anything, but I've never used any of that. I do it all online, even when I've had in-person sales. I'll send them
Yeah.
an
Yeah, I don't use Square at all. Maybe I might consider using it for like pop-up shops, but I don't even know how I feel about pop-up shops. I have never
Yeah,
done
same.
one. I don't feel like it would be a good return.
Yeah, it's just they're so like I was looking at one that was locally here. It was called Mind Body Soul Expo. And I'm like, oh,
Uh-huh.
that would be cool. You know, it's like a spiritual retreat.
Hmm.
It was like 1,500 for the booth. I'm like, no way, no
Yeah,
way. Like,
yeah.
imagine when I can do a live sale from home, you know, and probably most people are just gonna go and look at things and even buy it. So I'm like, no, I would have to price
Yeah.
it. There goes another example. You would have to price your crystals totally different for a pop-up shop, percentage
Hmm.
wise. You can do 150 for this and then 300% for your pop-up because it's you have to cover the cost of the
Yeah,
table.
yeah, for sure. Okay, last question. Is there a big difference in price for shipping using the plain white boxes?
No, everything is by weight. Everything is by weight. Like if you mean priority versus plain white, or if that's what you mean, there is a price difference. Flat rate means they allow up to a certain amount of weight for that same price. So say you have a white box and it's 10 pounds. If you were to just buy it like as a white box, it would probably be like $5 more versus if you put it in an envelope, it'll be $8. Or you know, that's the difference is the flat rate. But besides that, like it goes all by weight. Like when it's the white boxes and it's under a pound, it's all by the ounce and the location. Because for me, shipping in California is really expensive because I'm in the Midwest. But shipping to like, for example, Ohio, I notice is really cheap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, okay, last one for real, for real. Could you talk a little more about invoice payment for online? Invoice payments for online.
Like how
I
like how
how
we
to
make them.
invoice? I don't.
You have to have PayPal business, or you can do it off self-employed.
Mhm.
Intuit self-employed. They have an invoicing system too. I've never used it though, but you have to have PayPal business to send invoices, or else you can't.
Yeah,
And it
same.
doesn't mean you need a business license. You can start off. They don't report you to the IRS until you hit $20,000.
Yeah.
So you are considered a hobby until you make $20,000, not in profit, in sales.
Hmm.
So once you hit that number, you'll get a little letter from PayPal.
Yes, yes. They send you a nice little
But don't
government
be afraid
looking
to
form.
invoice right away, and like you're
Hmm.
not gonna have to pay taxes right away.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so um, this has been fun,
It
Andrea.
has
Thank you
been.
so much. I feel
Thanks
like
for having me.
yeah, thank you so much for hopping on. I know everyone still has a lot of questions. So, like I said, Andrea has her Patreon where you can find more information if you need it. And once you're in that group, you can go ahead and DM her, your questions. She's always more than happy to help.
And it
Um,
only starts at $3 a month. So like if you're just in the idea phase, you don't have to pay for the $9. The $9 one gets you like the vendor list and like specific things that I'm sharing, like tax info, because I feel like that's a little more serious and I don't want to um give too much to people that aren't ready yet. So you can pay the $3 a month and you just get like shipping info and stuff like that. It's real simple.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. PayPal does not hold your money. Someone is asking. For me, it doesn't, but I've had times where for some reason it holds it on certain people.
Yeah, so it depends. Like, also if you have like a dispute, so if someone disputes you, they'll
Hmm.
hold your money. So what I do after a live sale, I transfer my money right away. I don't want to risk it.
Hmm.
I don't, there's scammers out there. It can be someone that's saying I didn't ship their package and it says delivered and they're tracking or whatever.
Mhm.
So what I do is right away transfer it to my, that's why a bank account is so important. I, for a long time, just had it all in my PayPal all the time. Don't do that because anybody can hack you. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
Definitely transfer it out as soon as you can.
for sure, for sure. All right, thank you, Andrea. I'm so happy
Thank
we got to
you.
do this today. Again, I'll be posting this up on YouTube. Y'all can find me at the Moon Artisan on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Andrea, where can our friends find you?
Kagome's crystals everywhere. And a lot of people ask me, yes, it's Kagome's crystals, like Inuyasha, the anime.
Yeah.
You can find me on Etsy, TikTok, Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere except Twitter.
Yeah, I'm everywhere too, but I do have Twitter. I'm sure there's somewhere I'm not at though. Okay, well, it's been so fun. I hope we can do this again later.
Yeah,
This
we
was really
should.
nice. Okay. All right. Bye, Andrea.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.